Hello, everybody, and welcome into Talladega Superspeedway. Host to tonight's action for the Intimidator Superspeedway Series, presented by PGR eSports. I'm Austin Green alongside Dawson Wise, making a return to the booth with us here tonight. And Dawson, excited to have you back and excited for the race that we got in store here tonight.
Yeah, good to be back, Austin, as we approach the SummerSlam 499, continue down this road, only a couple weeks away now, and what better way to do it than with the ARCA cars, a very similar package to what we're going to see in 2 weeks. We've seen a lot of that Gen 6 recently, so expecting a lot of the same racing, a lot of dicing, and back and forth and big pushes and big runs. Should be a very, very exciting one on tap tonight.
Going to be a good one indeed. All right, well, qualifying complete. Drivers are getting gridded up. So let's get right down trackside and get into tonight's starting grid. How about your pole sitter tonight? Nash Brambilla in the number 23 car for PGR eSports puts down a 54 flat to get himself that front row starting position. Nick Seipel on the outside in second in the 75 car with Dega Pro's Sean Ward in third. Freddie Bosnes will start fourth here tonight. Back in row number 3, it's James Waring alongside Nathan Harper. Evan Carlbon will start from the 7th spot here tonight. It'll be Jared Haynes back in 8th. Matt Frady in 9th, and John Darnell with a great qualifying effort, rounding out your top 10.
Row 6, it's that familiar blue and white Toyota Camry. That's Garrett Maines in the 1. Alongside him in 12th will be Sean Wiggins. Row 7 will be Mike Davenport, the 55 for Team PGR, and Miles Backley in the 87 will roll 14th. Row 8, Rusty Plant in the 12 machine, and Brian Hennings in the 74 for Team PGR. Right back on row 9, it'll be Sean Corbett in 17th in the 45, and Axel Smith in the 97, making another start in PGR tonight. Row 10, it's NBG's Jeff Merck in the 60, and Malik Ray in the Coke Series.
Back in 21st, it's John Ellis Jr. alongside Dustin Svek, making his first start in PGR tonight from the 22nd position. Jackson Byes will roll off on the inside of row number 12, with Omar Rodriguez to his outside in 24th. Back in 25th is Chris Sommers alongside Chris Blanchard. Michael Wingo will roll off 27th with Austin Johnson to his outside in the 17 machine in 28th. Rounding out the top 30, David Drohan and Justin Johnson.
Boy, a who's who of big-name superspeedway racers decided not to take a time tonight. Row 16, Daniel Falkingham in the 39, defending PGR 500 winner, alongside Stephen Miles in the 41 and 32nd. Row 17, it's Landon Velicki in the 62 for Nightmare Esports, and Kyler Wynn in the 42 machine tonight will roll from 34th. Row 18, Dylan Jones in the 33, and the Jack Shack's Trevor Osbornoff in the 89. Row 19 will be Matt Lee in the 36, and Josh McCullough in the 05 for the McCullough boys. Row 20 to be Kenny McCullough Jr. in the 03, and William H. Scott Jr. in the 43. Final row tonight, Mark Vondell in 41st and Dusty Martin in 42nd.
Stacked field to get things rolling tonight. In addition, we've got a pretty interesting race setup. Dropping a few laps from what we ran last week. We'll only go 55 here tonight. And the drivers with 55% fuel certainly setting us up for the opportunity for a couple green flag pit stops. 2 sets of tires, no fast repair. Big thing to watch with the way these cars like to hook in the draft. Fixed setups as always, and 1 green-white-checkered if we were to need it. Talladega Superspeedway, 2.65 miles in length, 100-degree starting track temp, and temp in the sim outside, 75 degrees, 4 miles an hour a wind. Not going to affect anything. And as you said at the tip of the broadcast, Dawson, a lot of guys getting antsy here for the SummerSlam coming up in just a couple of weeks. And here tonight, big opportunity for a few drivers still looking for their first PGR win. Others looking to get themselves back in victory lane. All right, here we go. 2x2 as they work into the restart zone. Green flag in the air. We are racing at Talladega.
Already juking and jiving, drivers trying to make their way to the top side, the faster way around this racetrack. Some going to the middle, about 10 rows deep. Bottom side still led by Brambilla, but did not get a very good jump up to Song through 1 and 2. As such, Nick Seipel is allowed to go right to the lead with Freddie Bazinez, but here they go out of line. First out of line, Nathan Harper. These cars with big runs, he loves racing these kinds of packages. He goes right to the lead here in the tri-oval, pushed by Brambilla off 4 through the tri-oval.
Yeah, they're dicing it up really early. Lap 1, though, going to be a drag race. Seipel gets a big run, though, out of the tri-oval with the push from Bosnes. He'll take that lead. Be curious to see which lane rolls the best. We know that not only in the ARCA cars, but also the gents. Trouble, oh my goodness. Nick Seipel dirt tracking through the grass in 1 and 2. He got hooked. Are they going to save it up front? It looks like they do. 3 wide. Nick Seipel got turned out of line just as I was getting ready to say that these guys are pushing the way they do in the Gen 6, and there's that early bumper hook we were worried about, but what a save for Seipel.
Yeah, huge moment for Seipel to keep it on track. Surely now we'll need a caution, though, to get back in this one. And, yep, that's that left rear bumper hook. I was going to bring it up, but they did it a little too early for me to even predate it right there with Bassinez on Seipel. Man, almost another one right there in the middle lane. Good grief. These guys are pushing really, really hard. Latest big push is to the back of John Ward, going all the way to the outside, trying to get to the right rear. Can't on Nathan Harper. Will have to push. Meanwhile, 3 by 3 by 3 by 3. How about 5 rows deep? About to be 6. Here comes Maines up on the outside. Brambilla still on the inside, pushed by his teammate Mike Davenport. It is chaos up front. Look at John Ward. He is antsy to grab that right rear of Harper. Harper says no and slams the door right in his face.
Yeah, that was a big stop of momentum for the third lane. Now you're going to see Bosnez jump back down to the middle. He'll look for a side draft on Garrett. Which lane's he going to go with into 3? Looks like he'll stick to the middle. Now he drags all the way to the bottom. Maines is going to follow, and we'll see if this inside can switch up. Which lines had the momentum? Brambilla looks back middle, but I mean, really, Dawson, nobody up in these top 25 cars is set still for a lap here tonight. No fast repair. We've already seen a couple of close calls, and they're 4 wide now as we're going to cross the stripe.
Up on the outside, here comes that 4th lane, and I wondered how long it was going to take. Hennings and Haynes going backwards in the sucker hole in that 3rd lane. They're going to get picked up about 8 to 10 rows deep. For now, they door bang 4 wide. I believe it's Malik Ray, the first car up on the outside, pushed by Trevor Osmond, who is pushed by Landon Veliky. 3 of the cars coming from the back of the field. Still 4 wide back there around Veliky and Haynes, so they are bouncing off each other. Boy, Garrett Maines, Freddie Bassinez, these guys up front are saying, yeah, keep on doing that. It's allowing us to take a breath and race calm, but as soon as they calm down, it's Bassinez turning left on Maines. He wants to lead, but does not have the push. Harper, no momentum. Look at Malik Ray again. Big move by the 3 up on the outside. He still has Osmond and Veliky with him. Now they'll pick up Maines as well. Loneliest feeling in the world for John Ward in the middle going backwards.
And it'll be 5 laps complete as they cross the line this time. Back to 2x2 momentarily at the front, but still 3 wide and scattered about further back from about 10th to 20th. Looks like Carl Bond in the middle trying to get linked up here with Jeff Merck. We'll see if they can make a little bit of progress to the front. Nothing doing just yet. The 74 Brian Hennings there. Axel Smith, Jared Haynes on the outside, falling back, trying to slot into line. And tell you what, Dawson, a couple laps ago when we noted that 4 wide.
Big trouble out back, Austin. Axel Smith and a couple others. There were cars in the air back there. There's a car upside down. I believe Daniel Falkingham's in it as well.
Man, big hit for the 22. Dustin Svek upside down. And you said it, Daniel Falkingham in the 88. Massive damage, unless that's a different car, but I think you're correct on that.
It was a different 88. Oh,
okay,
my goodness.
all right.
It's not Falkingham. He's okay.
Different 88. We'll have to go back and see exactly what it was. It may have been... We'll have to go back and see. Again, a couple new guys here tonight, and one of the new guys was the one that we saw upside down. That was Dustin
Chris Summers,
Schweck.
the other 88.
Okay, there you go, Chris Summers. Let's go back first and see where this starts. And again, this was not in the lead draft. This was a little bit further back, or at least the bigger incident of it was. We'll see if it started back here. And it does. Oh, man, and it's the same kind of bumper hook that we saw Nick Seipel make a massive save on earlier. Dylan Jones trying to tandem with the 22 of Schweck in the corner. And it's working out good, and it's something with these cars, Dawson. I mean, I can look at that and tell you that Dylan Jones is about as square as you could get. I don't see him get offset left at all, but it just hooks that 22. He never even gets a chance at really saving this race car when it goes down the track, and he overcorrects, unfortunately, as he comes back up. Here comes the traffic. Chris Sommers in the 17, and man, those were 2 big hits. The 22 gets up into the catch fence. The 17 upside down as well. That was, I think, a couple of the hardest hits we've seen in quite a few weeks here in PGR.
Yeah, it was a tough hit. Do want to correct, that was Austin Johnson in the 17, not Axel Smith. They have very similar looking cars, so I screamed out Axel Smith. It was actually Austin Johnson. But yeah, huge monster hits, and it's interesting. You go back and watch that bumper hook, and I'm with you. That's about as square as you can get. I think the issue is in the corner, these cars very out of shape. A lot of load underneath the car when you go onto the banking, and I think that was really the big issue. It's kind of like the Xfinity car in that way when you get up on the banking. When you even touch just a little bit, even you can be as square as possible, it sends that guy around. And boy, for Svek, you thought for a second maybe he was going to do what Nick Seipel did, dirt track it and save it. As soon as it comes back to the right, you're along for the ride. And boy, I mean, he got hit a number of times. Big, huge, night-ending hits for guys towards the back of the field that weren't even in the fray. That's how dangerous this car-track combo can be. You can be running anywhere on the track in any position. At any point, your night can come to an end. It does right there for Summers, for Johnson, and for Svek as well.
Yeah, crazy ride for Dustin Svek as we were on the onboard camera right there. And, you know, looking back, though, at the other incident, and, you know, we've had a chance to see this car now for over a month. And it just seems like there hasn't been any change in the idea that you can push in the corner, but you have to keep it to bump drafting. It just gets, it's so inviting because you'll hit a guy in the corner and the car's stable, but it just seems like something with locking on at a certain point. It's like roulette. Sometimes it'll work. A lot of times, though, it doesn't. And I just cannot get over some of these hits. I mean, we're looking back at it, and it's just a wild, the way that the car actually got up in the air for both the 17 and the 22. I mean, he gets T-boned here in the right front, and it just sends the 17 flying into the wall. I know it destroyed, I would say, all 4 of those cars involved. And again, with no fast repair here tonight, that is obviously going to end some nights way earlier than planned. And, you know, really, these are the guys that were playing it safe.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. You can ride as far back as you want to. I mean, these guys were 8 seconds off the lead. I mean, you're probably riding that line thinking, we're going to be all right. We're in single file. We're just logging laps, and I don't want to go up there and join the mess at the front of the field. And especially after you see what happens to Cypler, you just back out. And you're like, I don't want any part of that. And unfortunately, again, with the way this car has been, guys may be trying to get up, out of the back of the field. Maybe Dylan Jones pushing the issue a little bit. And as they do in the banking, even running that far back, issues can happen. And that's the toughest spot to be in. You think you are way far away. You got enough time to get on the brakes and get away from stuff. And all of a sudden, it just blows up right around you, and there's nothing you can do. It is a terrible feeling as a driver. Tough break for those guys to be out this early.
Certainly is. And as we turn our attention now back live on the racetrack, Nathan Harper up front leading the way in the number 4 car. Garrett Maines up here along with Landon Veliky, another multiple PGR winner. And then John Ward back in the 5th spot. Malik Ray up here in 4th. Looks like him and Maines will get lined up on the outside for this restart. And really only 8 laps complete, so still a long ways to go and still a couple of pit stops in play. It'll be interesting to see if these guys decide to settle it down or if we get right back to the 3 and even 4 wide action that we saw just throughout that first run. And by the way, while we are under caution, a good chance to mention here before I end up forgetting later on, when things get crazy. We mentioned it earlier. We're going to mention it a few times tonight. The PGR SummerSlam 499 coming up in just a couple of weeks. It is going to be a good one. Make sure that you go on pgresports.com where you can check out all the information, the schedule, and get yourself registered today. Going to be a fun one. $1,700. Let me go ahead and say it differently. $1,750 to the winner, and payouts will go back through the field even further along with that SummerSlam belt, which of course Malik Ray took home last year. So looking forward to that. A lot of things there, but talking about starting a new quarter just last week. And we saw Malik Ray get the win at Daytona over Alex Hill. I got to think he's feeling pretty confident about going back-to-back with where he runs now.
Yeah, definitely can't wait for that event. The biggest sim racing event of the summer comes back for another year. I'm stoked about it. Can't wait to be on the call for a lot of those races as well. Going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, you're in a spot and in a package for that weekend in a format for Malik Ray that I think you have to be confident, because we're already seeing it tonight. Grabbing right rears, being aggressive. The Gen 6, just like this car, rewards aggression. If you are aggressive, if you are willing to step over the line to a degree, not too far, but just to a degree, it rewards that. It rewards that style of driving, and it's what Malik Ray is good at. And now it certainly will not be easy. It will be very stiff competition. He has to make the race first, but if he does, I got to imagine Malik Ray will be high on my list of favorites to potentially repeat.
Absolutely. All right, Nathan Harper, Garrett Maines lining up for the first restart of the night. Veliky and Ray going to be the lead pushers in row 2. Let's see who gets the better jump. Green flag back in the air at Talladega. 9 of 55 laps complete as the cars roar back to life. Better restart goes to Nathan Harper, but more organization on the outside. Malik Ray quickly able to get tandemed up with Garrett Maines, and he's going to try to stay locked on here through 1 and 2. As these guys get up to full pace. But when you climb the banking, see a lot of drivers bailing to the outside quickly. They're going to have the momentum already. 3 wide, though. Murgo, trouble. Harper.
Far around Harper.
Can he save it? He does. He locks it down.
Goodness.
No caution as the field scatters out back to miss him. We have another one crab walking back here. That's Austin Johnson from the last wreck. He'll go by. No caution, and again, though, Dawson, these guys don't seem to be learning the lesson. That's another left rear hook, I'm going to go ahead and assume.
Yeah, it's guys trying to push too hard in bad spots. It happens to Harper right there, and luckily for him, he didn't get hit, but in the same spot as Seipel, now he's going to need a caution. Seipel got his caution. We'll see if Harper gets his. Back to chaos at the front. Jeff Merck was grabbing right rear quarter panels. John Ward's trying to grab right rear quarter panels. A lot of aggression. Carl Bond went to the outside, too. Got no help going all the way to the back. It's Ray from Merck. From a couple of other cars back there. Looks like the 40. Is that Matt Frady? I believe it is, making another appearance tonight. He's coming towards the front. And he's got, I believe, Rusty Plan out back at him. Sean Corbett coming to the front as well. It is total chaos left and right. Maines throws a block on Ray. He has the lead. For the first time tonight, though, there's the Miller Lite Mustang. It's Kyler Wynn coming up through the front of the field.
Yeah, Kyler Wynn, not going to take him too long to get up here and get aggressive. Omar Rodriguez also making moves through the field. He's up 15 positions from where he started this race at. Looking to continue that charge to the front, but real quick, a note on what we just saw between Veliky and Harper. That one looked a little different. It still looked like the left rear bumper hook, but it was coming off the corner. We know these cars like to unload right as you get off the corner. I think that may have played a part in that one, but again, you got to think about these things. If we get late in the race, how much pushing are you willing to do if it could cause a wreck? Watch out. Did they keep it together back here? I saw one get out of shape. The 74 Hennings, 4 wide briefly as they split back to 3. Meanwhile, up front, Jeff Merck looking for some help. He's going to get it. Here comes the cavalry with Sean Corbett, and I think they've got one other car up there. That's the 40 machine trying to make something happen on the outside.
About 35 laps from now, I don't think Jeff Merck would have given that grace. He stabbed the brake pedal, and Malik Ray came back across his nose. If we were 10 to go in the race, he would not have given that room. That allowed Kyler Wynn to get all the way through to the lead of the bottom. He's got to push out from behind from Freddie Bassinez. In the middle, Veliky, Carlbon stuck. They'll get a little help right here when that middle drops down, but no push from behind means they are going backwards in a hurry. Outside trying to get back, that's Frady. Corbett there as well in the 45. Daniel Falkingham, Brian Hennings, and welcome back to the front. Nick Seipel back in the lead pack for the first time since his near spin earlier. Win on the bottom, Maines on the outside. Outside's going to side draft. And here comes Jeff Merck, and how nice will he be with Malik Ray? I cannot imagine he'll be too friendly now with the driver of the 3. He put that down in the mental notebook. He said, look, you're going to drive me like that? All right, that's fine. I'm not going to help you going forward. For now, though, seemingly friendly as John Ward grabs his right rear and shoots him to the middle.
And Jeff Merck, he'll let you know how he feels, too. He's not out here scared to race these guys. You don't race him the way he's going to, or the way you race him is the way he's going to race you, and certainly right now, he's trying to find some track position. Veliky trouble.
Trouble, Sean Corbett. A couple others, James Waring. One more car out towards the inside wall. Oh, man, Axel Smith may have got caught in that as well.
He did. He took a big hit here. We got one that was upside down briefly, and it was the 97. Ooh, big hit out back, too, there for the 11. David Drohan way after the wreck. Not sure if his suspension was already broke or what. There's the damage for James Waring. His front nose is ripped off. In just 5 laps. Actually, this is about the same amount of laps that we ran before we saw that first caution here on the second run. Man, oh man, 13 laps complete, 2 cautions. Let's go back and look and see what sparked this. Axel Smith was the one that obviously kind of caught my eye. I don't think he was the first one that got turned out of line, but certainly one of the ones that took the most damage here. We'll go first to the blimp cam. That's not quite going to do the angle we're looking for. Let's go to the chopper first. And where does this all start? Oh, it's a checkup. And it starts right around Hennings, and I think that's Sean Corbett. Let's go back here, see if we can find these two guys. And I think really for Sean Corbett here, he's going to see the checkup first. Oh, and it's something that happens with the 78 of Carlbon and the 92 award. And I apologize for continuously backing this up. I know you want to see it play through, but we're trying to get to kind of the root of this. And you see it right up here. All right, so coming out of 4, here's Evan Carlbon in the middle. You see John Ward up top. Carlbon's got a little bit of a run, and coming out of the corner, he's going to take it. He jumps up, but right as he does so, I'm not sure if they stack up front, Dawson, or if he just gets a big run, but he kind of catches Veliky before he gets all the way to the top. That puts him in a weird spot, and that's what kind of starts the checkup on that third line. And then as they check up, it eventually gets back to the 45 of Corbett. Hennings tries to go low to avoid him and just barely clips him in the left rear, and it's on from there. Some big hits for a few of these guys that went towards the inside wall, couple to the pits, and there's Axel Smith getting up, over, and then tagged by the 24.
Yeah, it's a tough deal in this car, kind of, again, like the Gen 6, we've been seeing the past couple weeks. That checkup can happen. You get a run you want to take, it, but then obviously Carlbahn and Veliky, they're going to get in line and have to kind of lift out of the gas. When they do that, unfortunately, it kind of wakes its way backwards. Props to Sean Corbett. He actually sees this, I think, before it ever really gets back to him. By doing so, though, Brian Hennings did not quite get the memo in time and gets into his left rear. So Corbett kind of gets punished a little bit for making the right call and seeing that before it really got back there around that group. So unfortunate for Corbett. I think he gets away better than several other cars do in this, but for the guys behind it, chain reaction wearing, that was Michael Wingo, I think, in the 0-1. That was the other car that was involved pretty heavily until Axel Smith came along. So tough break for the guys involved, but it's a product of this car. The runs are big, and when you get one, you want to take it. Veliky and Carlbahn, that was probably their best option to not continue to go backwards in the middle. And unfortunately, the checkup got back there around Corbett, and it was on from there. A tough break for all those guys, but again, it's a product of the package. It'll be a product of the Gen 6 package in a couple weeks in the SummerSlam 499. It will likely end some people's runs in that race weekend. Because those are the incidents we've come to expect out of cars like this that generate just such huge momentum boosts when you're in the draft.
Yeah, that was a wild one for sure, but I'm just looking back at, I think Axel Smith pretty much had this one missed until right at the last second when he got clipped by, I think that was the 13 of Waring, who was still spinning out down on the apron, and this was another interesting looking wreck because once he actually gets on his roof, he gets hit pretty hard by the 24, who obviously had absolutely nowhere to go. And kind of looked a little bit similar to maybe a real-life wreck that we've seen before. I'm thinking back, if looked a little similar to the way Ryan Newman got hit. And then the 11 at the back end, I think that's the other biggest hit in this. David Drohan just couldn't quite get slowed down in time. Now, granted, he had no damage, Dawson, and I think that he hits the 24 in the rear bumper decently hard, but if you go back and look at it, I mean, it totals his race car, hitting him at probably less than 100 miles an hour. I'm a little surprised at the amount of damage that gave the 11, but a tough break for Drohan, and as you noted, multiple others were just really, really trying to get up here and get after it early, and some of the aggression up front is unfortunately hurting these guys trying to take it easy out back. And as we do go back up front, 15 out of 55 laps complete. Lights are off. We're getting ready to go back green, and looks like on the inside it's going to be Bosnez and Maines, and on the outside it's going to be Merck and Malik.
Yeah, and these guys, especially these ones in about the top 8 or 10 cars, have really been dicing back and forth, making big moves and kind of starting those checkups that we saw. I don't expect that will change. I mean, these guys, the further we get in the race, they're definitely not going to calm down and log laps. It doesn't feel like that kind of race tonight. So I anticipate guys will go right back to it, going high, low, middle, throwing blocks across guys' bumpers and racing the way we've anticipated them to race, both in this car and the Gen 6, among other packages as well. So I anticipate the racing will be the same. It feels like a ticking time bomb here up front. We've gotten away with it the first couple times. The Corbett incident started about position number 12, but inside this top 10, I think it's a time bomb just waiting to go off, and the more laps we pass by, the more energy builds, the closer we get to that one block that's too much, or that one move that's too big, or the run that's too much to stop. We're getting to that point. I just wonder when it's going to happen, but the runs continue to get bigger, the moves continue to get dicier up front as these guys continue to test the limit and try to toe the line between, hey, that's okay, and hey, we're going to wreck a bunch of race cars.
Yeah, I think we are going to end up wrecking even more race cars than what we've already done so far tonight, but still a green flag pit stop possible, although the way it's going right now, if I'm anywhere in this pack, I'm not racing like we have a pit stop left. I want track position. The way that things have been happening, I've seen a lot of guys out back here with either close calls or obviously the 2 wrecks we've had getting caught up in it, so see what they decide to do, but Garrett Maines, a look on the front row with Malik Ray. Here we go. Green flag back in the air. It'll be 16 of 55 laps now complete here at Talladega. And it's a good restart for both lines. It's going to be all about who gets the help first, though. Seems like this outside has been better, but Dawson, 2 restarts tonight, and on both of them, we've seen somebody get turned. Let's see if they can hold it together this time.
So far, so good, but not for long. Bosnez, Maines, Kyler Wynn trying to save it. They're all bouncing off each other. Somehow they did. And again, it was a bumper hook. And again, it was the exit of turn 2 that was danger spot number 1. Everybody that time, though, gets away. Bassin has huge block on Brambilla's bumper, and now it is chaos here at the front as guys try to figure it out. Boy, not a great spot. If you look in the mirror, if you're Malik Ray or Jeff Merck here, they are way too far out front. Oh, they're going to throw a block on the bottom. I don't know if I like that at all. Maines has to check up. They're all getting in the back of each other. That was bold, but it all works out. And through on the bottom comes Daniel Falkingham and Evan Carlbon in the 78 as well.
Yeah, and I think Merck said, you can have that block, Malik, but I'm going to split you as soon as the help gets back to me, and that's exactly what he did. Goes to the third lane here with Garrett Maines, and on the middle.
Trouble. Nick cycles around out back in the middle of the field off Brian Hennings.
And this is going to be another big incident here. Mark Vondell slides in with nowhere to go. Multiple cars through the grass. And Brian Hennings destroyed after just sneaking through that last incident. He was at the start of it, but made it through mostly unscathed and didn't make it through this one. So again, under caution, Mark Vondell throwing some dirt on the track, but I don't think his night's over. Certainly some damage he'll have to go in and fix. Let's go back and take a look at this one here. This is going to start... Well, first of all, I don't know how we didn't have a wreck there on the first lap. That was close. We'll go back and talk on that in just a moment, but... Oh, it's right up there with Brian Hennings, and is that Nick Seipel? Yes, it is. First car that you noticed get out of line, and getting reports here in the chat. Heath Job says the 74 screen froze up, and I've had that happen a couple times. It is a terrible feeling, especially if you're in the middle of the pack. And for Hennings here, watch from the cockpit view first. Yeah, he just... Car works up the track on him pretty quickly. That's a very uncharacteristic set of moves there from Brian Hennings. Certainly would fit the category of some sort of technical issue there. To see him just kind of drive up the track into Seipel like that. And actually, he goes up 2 or 3 lanes here. Yeah, that's definitely an issue, Dawson. I mean, this thing pretty much shoots straight up the banking on him and just gets right into Nick Seipel. Obviously, nowhere he could go. They were getting ready to get 4 wide either way, but once he turns Seipel around, they just kind of stay right in the middle of the track before eventually pushing up into the safer barrier. And fortunately, Omar Rodriguez, he gets collected, the 36. Trying to figure out if that was Matt Lee. Whoever it is, they are collected as well. And so, again, quite a few cars that are involved in this melee.
Yeah, and this one, I mean, as a driver, you're sick to your stomach if this happens, while you're out there. And, man, for Brian Hennings, again, if you're on the bottom, you can kind of just dip to the apron or go to the grass, or even if you're up top, you can kind of put yourself maybe in the safer barrier or something and kind of get out of the way. But when you're in the middle, or 3 wide, really 4 wide there for a moment, there's just nowhere to go. You just kind of have to hold your wheel and kind of hope you're still going straight. And unfortunately for Hennings, again, there's really nothing that he can do, obviously. It's completely out of his control. Seipel's got big damage. His right front was all off the tether, and he was coming to pit road with big suspension damage. His night is likely over. A couple other guys, Rodriguez, I could not tell if that was Matt Lee. It was the 36, but he looks to be okay. But man, I mean, just the most helpless feeling as a driver there for Hennings. I'm sure guys won't be happy about it, but again, there is nothing you can do. And that's a really tough moment for Brian Hennings.
Yeah, it certainly is. And with this caution, still not going to be in the fuel window, but it's just, I mean, Dawson, you said it has that feel of a race where we're just going to see a bunch of these. I just think as a driver, when you know that early, you can't sit here and say, well, I'll wait until we get to, I don't know, 20 laps to go, because each caution takes up 3 to 5 laps. And when you start getting, 4 or 5 cautions in a row here, those laps start to wind down pretty quickly, at least in terms of the amount of laps you get to run under green. So I still am, I know that it's been a little chaotic, but I'm still kind of on the fence here of I think that you really need to try to go up and get some track position now and hope that maybe we get a couple more wrecks out back. But if you get trapped back here with less than 25 laps to go, I think you're going to be setting yourself up in a bad spot as we get towards the end of the race.
Well, normally I'd agree in most of these car track combos that we run, but the problem is tonight now, that's about the 3rd time on the restart that we've seen that bumper hook come into play. And that time we got the closest we have been to a big wreck at the front of the field that takes out a lot of the contending cars. Guys are going to continue to push. They're not going to not push, obviously. But, as that continues to happen, do you want to be up here if finally that time bomb goes off and all of a sudden we've got 12 of the lead cars wrecked because of that bumper hook we've seen on every restart? I'm not sure yet. I think it's still a little early. The last 25 laps, obviously, is still about 12 until we get to that point. So, I don't know, maybe some guys back there kind of say, hey, I'm going to chill for 15 more and then try to go get it and avoid maybe another bumper hook at the front. I mean, the last restart, That one was about as close as you can get to piling up half the field, and we somehow got away without piling up any cars at all. So we've gotten lucky a few times. How many times is too many? Eventually, I think these guys' luck will run out, and we'll see how many restarts it takes.
Absolutely. Lights go off on the pace car, and a little bit of a different look up front this time. John Ward alongside Daniel Falkingham, who, by the way, is up almost 30 positions where he started this race at. Malik Ray in third. Freddie Bosnez back in fourth. Nash Brambilla still up here close to the top 5. And we're still not even halfway. A lot of laps left to go in this race. A couple on the apron saving a little fuel. I wonder if it's close to a one-stop from here. And that would be, of course, if we go green, which hasn't looked too promising so far. But, hey, I do want to give a quick shout-out to everybody watching in the chat here tonight. We hope that you are having a good Thursday night. Danny Barnes, Heath Job, good to see you guys in here. Hey, it's Dina, Chase, good to see you guys in here as well. Dust Devil, Kenny Reel. I think we called out Danny Barnes already, but we'll give him another one. Devin Ray, good to see you in here. Hope everybody is doing pretty good. Watching the PGR eSports Intimidator Superspeedway Series here at Talladega. And obviously, we talked about in the ARCA cars. I'm still waiting to see what the rest of this quarter's schedule is going to look like, Dawson. I've been waiting here for 2 weeks, but I think these guys are still deciding on some events. One thing we know of is we're going to see a pretty big mix of tracks. In fact, I think I heard something about Bristol being ran at some point this quarter.
Man, I love that. We ran Bristol several weeks ago when the ARCA car first came out. We ran it as a special event, and that was a blast. I was on track. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun, really competitive. A lot of guys had a lot of speed. And, you know, some people watch it, oh, they're super speedway guys. There's no way they're good on other tracks. They can put on a show on other tracks, right? Wrong. That Bristol race was awesome, and can't wait to go back there. It's my home track, obviously, so it'll be really cool to be a part of another one of those. But, you know, we continue to diversify the product, and obviously, you know, kind of chalk right in the middle of quarter 3 is the SummerSlam 499 in 2 weeks. A big quarter for PGR. A lot of big stuff going on.
Indeed, and I was just looking here right as we were getting ready for the restart. It looked like there might have been a checkup brewing on the inside, but it looks like everybody's gotten caught up and sorted out, so we should be okay there. So we go back into the restart zone again, and here we go. Green flag back in the air. We'll try it again. 21 of 55 laps now complete. John Ward gets the better jump, and he'll have the luxury of picking inside or outside as they go through turn 1 and 2. He'll choose to go to the top with Daniel Falkingham, Carlbon trying to get lined up. Meanwhile, on the bottom, strong trio. Here comes Malik Ray, Freddie Bosnez, and Garrett Maines.
On the outside third line forming, Veliky, Osronaut, Matt Lee hung one car in the middle, looked like Rusty Plant in the 12. He's going backwards. 62 and the 89 have been really aggressive all night too. Now they've got Matt Lee with them as well. Interesting to see what they'll cook up here on this restart. Imagine they might try to go to the outside again. Let's see as that middle comes down to the side draft. Still Ward up front, Ray on the bottom, Falkingham pushing that outside. Boy, that middle line is really rolling nicely here off turn number 4. Bottom still trying to get connected. Freddie Bosnez, just for the life of him, cannot get to the back bumper of Malik Ray and give him a good enough push. Not sure if he's getting pushed from Garrett Maines. There's a connection issue, something. Now that bottom finally starts to roll. There goes Veliky again. He tried it. As they go into one, it's John Ward across the bottom on Malik Ray. That bottom finally rolls. Falkingham, Carlbon lead the middle, and Ward, a bit of an interesting decision to go back up, but a big run from Falkingham to his back bumper.
I think Falkingham cut him a little bit of a break there. It looked like Ward washed up a little high, scrubbed off a little too much speed. I think late in the race he gets split, but right now Falkingham just trying to keep these two up front. Does a good job. Ward will quickly go back down to the bottom to cover the momentum that Malik Ray has moving towards the front. Further back, 3 wide again, but you know, we saw what happened to Rusty Plant on that first lap, and I think that's the thing that gets you so nervous with these cars, Dawson. We see a lot of guys block pretty fearlessly, but when you come down to the end, you're so nervous. You know that you want to try to cover the lane or go with the lane that has the most momentum. But man, if you get split, you go to the back so quickly in these cars. Lucky for Rusty Plant, it looks like he was indeed able to hold on to this pack. But speaking of pack, we've only got 17 cars in the lead one right now. Looks like Miles Bagley and a few others are trying to chase him down from about a second and a half back.
Yeah, not too bad a spot to be in, though, if I'm in that pack of cars, judging on how this racing has been. So we'll see what those guys decide to do, if they decide to just ride back there or what happens. Carlbon made a big move on the front stretch last time by, but didn't get any help, so he's going to the back with Matt Lee. An unfortunate break. That was a really good move from Carlbon. He just couldn't get anybody to go with him. Malik right in the middle with Bosnez, win. Matt Lee's there. Brambilla going to go down backwards. And Matt Frady joins the middle. Man, they are all over the place up here. You talked about how fast you lose speed. It is insane when you're in the cockpit of this race car how fast you lose your momentum if you just have a guy come out from around you. It's like you throw the anchor out the window. It is insane. Guys flying by you 20 mile an hour faster. And look at, I mean, just the difference between, Carl Bond now in the front of the field. Look at how far backwards in distance those guys went. And it's pretty unreal when you're in the car. It feels very helpless, but now they're on the offense. They can go attack and try to get that track position back. On the inside, that fearless run from Ray. Bassinez, Wynn, got it all the way to the front. They've got Falkingham with them now. No organization on the outside. Veliky too far off John Ward to do anything of substance here. Falkingham to the lead. All four, look out back. Brambilla going for right rears. Carl Bond, Merck. Third line forms again, and all of a sudden they're juking and jiving off four.
This is one of the few series where you will hear drivers sometimes actually say that, I had the run, and I looked like I had room. All of a sudden, you were there. That's how quick the runs develop, and fortunately, when you get big runs, you can get big stack-ups as well. We saw just a couple laps ago, Brambilla try to make a bold move to the inside, and this was the other thing I wanted to mention. You make that move too early, and if you have no aero push behind you, you just said it, Dawson, it feels like you throw the anchor out the window. Well, when that happens, once the guys eventually do get to you, they can't push you. They're going too much faster, so they have to end up splitting. That's exactly what we saw happen with Brambilla, but Malik Ray, not sure what the issue was there, if it's fuel or something else, but the 34's falling back in a hurry right here.
It was a bumper hook off turn number 2 again. It was Bassinez in the back of him, got him off the racetrack, and nobody let him back in. They all said, no, I'm good. I'm going to go on by, and you're going to have to find a way up. And he went all the way to the back of the pack. Another bumper hook now. Lucky for Malik, he did not fully get around to the point where we saw Nick Seipel earlier. A couple of other cars as well. He was able to save it and remain in the draft. But it sent him all the way to the back and lost him all his track position up front. Now it's Bassinez on the back of Landon Veliky in the 62, taking his first turn on the front row. Up front, Falkingham, Ward. Man, this has been really weird all race. I feel like John Ward is trying to get right rears, but he's not really turning up as hard as maybe he should be. Maybe avoiding potentially causing a wreck, but he's trying to get up and around him, but he's just kind of gradually moving up, and it creates this awkward situation on corner exit when the whole line has to check up. It did it right there, but luckily for him, he's got guys behind him that know what they're doing and are able to stab the brakes. Just awkward position, but now it seems to be content pushing Falkingham after he tried this one move for the lead.
And the other thing we didn't talk about that we could be seeing with some of that, even in John Ward's case, is these cars, you can push a ton, but they also get hot quick, and they do not cool down fast. So a lot of times in the corner, especially if you have the luxury of doing so, you are looking for any air you can get, whether that's stuck into the inside, the outside. Sometimes up front, you'll actually see the lead car drop a lane lower just to give the guy pushing a little bit of fresh air, try to cool the engine temps down. Wonder if that's maybe what John Ward's trying to do right now up front with Falkingham. They're working really good together, though. But all of a sudden, the bottom now starting to charge up a run. Here comes Landon Veliky in the 62. Leading right now a line of Chevys, followed by a Ford trying to get back to the front. Up top, though, still pretty strong. And how about Rusty Plant? He got sent to the back through the middle. Now here he is trying to make his way to the front through the middle. Unfortunately, it's not going to work out. Looks like he might be going to the back here again.
It wasn't by choice. He was up on the top lane about 5 cars deep, and Malik Ray got to his right rear in turns 3 and 4 and sent him all the way to the back. No mercy there from the number 3 machine of Malik Ray. He's going to try it to Merck, and he's going to get it on Merck. And Carl Baum will go with him, and now Jeff Merck suffers the same fate. Backwards goes the 60 in the middle, that red, white, and blue machine, and oh boy, little frustration there from Merck. Thought about side drafting a little tight. Obviously, now does not have the speed. He'll go all the way to the back of the pack. Malik Ray, no mercy. Let's see if he tries to get Garrett Maines or if he chooses to push the 1. Veliky going to jump to the outside, stacks up the lane. Maines goes around Ward as Veliky goes to the lead. Now, the problem for Landon is he's going to have to block that top lane. Oh, he thought about it, but I think he thought better of it. Going to go back down to the middle. He and Ward will go backwards. Tough break for Veliky there as kind of 3 or 4 different things happened at one time.
A tough break for Ward, too, going to the back after really he kind of cut Landon a break there, who made a little bit of a late block, but they're able to all figure it out, so no harm, no foul there. By the way, going to be hitting lap 30 this time, so now over the halfway point by about a handful of laps or so, and these guys are still dicing it up here pretty good. The 2 on the inside, Kyler Wynn, really, he's been up front, but I hate to say, it feels like it's been a quiet night from him so far. You haven't heard us call him his name quite as much as what we're used to, but that doesn't mean he hasn't been at the front. Kyler Wynn looking to see if he can grab another win here tonight before they get to the SummerSlam. And you talk about a guy who knows how to win marquee events. How about your Podium 500 winner? Trying to remember the year. I think it was back, not last year, but the year before. where he was able to get the job done there. Don't quote me on that. May have been last year. Either way, Kyler Wynn knows how to win when the lights are the brightest.
Yeah, now he's back up front. I agree. It's been a bit quieter than we expected, but did have that moment earlier with the bumper hook, kind of got sent to the back. He's just not had the track position. Remember, he started back in the 30s tonight, so just hasn't been up front maybe as much as we're used to with the early cautions that we had. But now, kind of established himself up front. He's got a push from Freddie Bassinez. They work well together. They're going to do so here down the backstretch. And what was a quiet night for Kyler Wynn likely will be a little bit less quiet here in a moment. Man, Rusty Plant's making some moves out back. Veliky, that's a tight side draft in 3 and 4 on Wynn. He's got Ward, Falkingham, Malik Ray, and now Trevor Osmanoff. And look at Malik Ray again. Now he's got Daniel Falkingham's right rear. Malik Ray, left and right, is grabbing right rear quarter panels. There is no quarter, no prisoners. So Malik Ray grabs another one. How about John Ward? See you later. He's going in the middle. Veliky smartly jumps to the safer barrier. Boy, Malik Ray, I mean, doesn't matter who you are. If you're another Coke Series driver, if you're a guy who's run around a lot, it does not matter. He is getting track position in any way, shape, or form that he can. 3x3, 4, almost 5 rows deep in the field as Maines leads onto the back straightaway.
And I would say he's not making many friends, but he really doesn't need them. He always finds a way to the front as, whoa, man, John Ward and Merck, they did not get aligned properly there down the back. I think Kyler able to cut John a little bit of a break, too, as he had to go down to the bottom. The middle was rolling too strong, but that was another close call of a bumper hook. Meanwhile, Malik's going to jump back down to the middle. Garrett up top with Landon Veliky, and all this battling now, Dawson, what it's done is certainly now brought this second pack back in the mix. I was just getting ready to note that these guys had fallen further back than that 1.5 second marker, in which you're still within drafting range. But Ken McCullough Jr., Sean Corbett, and the 21 of Jackson Byes, 3 veterans of the series doing a heck of a job pushing this line, leading the charge back to the front, and I think they're going to get there within the next handful of laps, and when they do, it's going to turn this 15-car lead pack into about a 20 or 25-car lead pack.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully anticipated at this point. They're on the go button now in that second group, and boy, this first one almost had a huge moment. Carl Bond and Osmanoff and Veliky all out of shape in turn one right at the front of the field, running 1.35. All got towards the outside wall. They all were able to save it and continue on and stay in the lead draft. A really big moment for them. You see visually that second group is getting closer the closer we get to that potential pit lap. Coming up here very soon. That second group has decided, okay, we got to get back up front or we're not going to have a chance to be in the mix for the win when that pit stop does happen. Carl Bond, Ray up to the outside on the safer barrier. They're taking right rears again, trying to get to the outside of Merck again. It's about the third time, I think, that Merck has been stuck in the middle. Haynes going to move up. Osmond going to move up. Veliky going to move up. And all of a sudden, 3 Jack Shack cars lined up, 2, 3, 4 on the outside. They're going to get to second, third, fourth on the racing surface.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a double block, if you will, there from the 7 of Haynes and the 89 of Trevor Osmanoff. We saw that actually be the winning move for Seipel and Malik Ray last week. Those two pulled off to perfection. Heath Job saying fuel stops incoming, and they lined up pretty quickly. Let's see if anybody decides to come in this time, and they will further back at least one. John Ward, oh no, he's going to peel off all by himself. That's a tough break for the man who's led so many here tonight. John Ward all alone. Hennings comes in, but that's for damage and a bit of an off-sequence pit stop, so he will not come out with the 92. Boy, I got to think, if you're Ward here, you are praying that the field comes in next lap, Dawson.
You have to. I don't think you really have a choice, and you're also hoping these guys don't push very hard, which right now they're kind of off each other. Everybody's trying to find a spot in line, and also you kind of want to set your mind here. You don't want to get yourself in a bad spot. You want to kind of set yourself up to be ready for a pit stop. So that's what these guys are thinking about, especially here at the front of the field. You don't want to get on the brakes too early if you're Veliky, Osmanoff, Haynes, etc. If these guys come down, we'll see. Out back, there's a second line of guys potentially, I think, that are going to try to run this a little bit longer off another lap. And unfortunately for John Ward, no takers in the lead pack. Nobody comes down. All of a sudden, they're starting to race again out back. It's a bit odd. It's a bit odd look. We're not used to seeing them starting to race after they line up for pit stops.
Yeah, I'll tell you what they're running. They're running the leaders down, and right now the 88 of Falkingham with all the momentum in the world, but it's finally going to go ahead and settle down here behind the 1 of Garrett Maines and the 34 Malik. We'll see if they try to block this up front. Watch out, big run coming. What will Carl Bond do? Does he try to move up and cover the 34? I would think if they're still getting this racy, Dawson, these guys could maybe go at least a couple more laps, but up front right now, still 2, 3 of the Jack Shack drivers sitting in the top 5. They got to be feeling pretty good. And for Ken McCullough Jr., talked about him helping lead that second group back to the leaders. Here he is now, about fourth on the outside, trying to make his way to the front as we come to 20 laps to go.
Yeah, a couple possibilities. These guys come to the front. Either they can go a couple more laps, or they want to get the track position immediately and think they can just go drive past them, which Malik did, Garrett did, Daniel Falkingham's now next up on the list. So those two cars got where they wanted. And, you know, a couple other cars up there we haven't seen in a while. Nathan Harper got turned earlier on that bumper hook. He's back inside the top 5. Stephen Miles, we haven't really seen him all night up this far. He's up here now as well. Kenny McCullough, haven't seen him up this far. A couple other cars back there. Matt Lee got damaged in that wreck. He's back up front. So is Nash Brambilla, who started on the pole of tonight's race. So guys either that have not been up here in a while or have not been up here at all coming to the front. On the point of the Jack Shack, yeah, no reason to block it. You know you can go right to the front. They just did a moment ago. Stay in line. Don't do anything to endanger your race. Just make your pit stop. You know you can line up. You've got several helpful cars in this pack now. You can go up and win the race. It looked like they had some help from Landon Velicki there as well. So no reason for me to throw your race out the window potentially on a block. Just stay in line, stay calm, make your pit stop, and focus on winning it after.
And a couple pit stops here. Jeff Merck, Mike Davenport, Sean Corbett, and it looked like Mark Vondell further towards the back, making their way in here for what, let's see, 55% fuel for these guys. This is going to be close on if this is their last stop or not.
You're going to be close.
I think if you're the guys that have stayed out, I think they are planning on making this one stop. The cars that we've seen pit already, I don't know. It's going to be really close. But last lap, we saw a close call between Ken McCullough Jr. and Garrett Maines as they try to get aligned on the bottom. They were able to get it sorted out, and as they come to 18 to go, here we go. This is going to be the big group. Can they all get in clean?
Oh, Matt Lee out back. Landon Velicki trying to cut him some grace. Trevor Osmond shooting up the bottom. I think everybody got in okay. It looked like it on my end. And now the fun part, finding your pit sign. Matt Lee missed his. A couple other cars may have missed their pit boxes, but all things considered, could have been a lot worse, that big group. Now a group of 3 has stayed out. Kyler Wynn, Nash Brambilla, and Matt Frady going an extra lap. Let's see how far they go here. I'm really curious. Those 3 bailing with the lead pack, going to try to go at least 1, maybe 2 more, get a little less fuel in that car and potentially have a faster pit stop.
Yeah, and the later you pit, the racier you can get, the quicker, or maybe I should say the quicker you can get racier, because obviously you'll have enough fuel to make it to the end sooner than the guys who had to pit earlier. And here we go. Let's see if this trio decides to pit this time. Sure enough, they will. Brambilla goes to the bottom. He'll actually slot in line behind Kyler Wynn. The 40 of Frady follows. And during that last pit sequence, Dawson, you mentioned a couple guys missing their pit stall, or missing their pit sign, if you will, and I've been hearing about that the last couple of weeks, and the complaints seem to be growing about guys who, as soon as they go into the pits, they just drive through every single box down the entire pits until they get to theirs, which obviously the reason that people do it is because it ghosts your car and you don't have to worry about getting hit, but the trade-off is that when you do that, guys can't see their pit sign when you're driving through their car, and just something to note there, and I wonder if that had anything to do with some of the missed pit stalls that we saw in that last sequence.
Yeah, it's been a thing for a long time. Several guys have done it. Now, it's never been as bad as it was right there. That was insane. That was a lot of guys going right through all the boxes. So it's never been quite to that degree, but there have been a few guys that have kind of always just driven down the left side of pit road. Usually it's no harm, no foul. Tonight, though, it looked like a couple guys missed it. I think Matt Lee was one of them. And as such, I don't think he caught this lead draft. I think he's with that second group. It is about a second, 1.3 seconds off this lead pack right now. They will gain that time because the lead pack just split up. They are going left and right, trying to pick their lines. It's 2x2. That's going to help the group out back with Matt Lee and a couple of others here that kind of got lost in the shuffle up front. The pushes are getting a little bit more desperate. That time it was Harper again that was sideways. He's had a handful tonight in that blue and white number 4 machine. And up front, it's 2x2, and guys start to now make their way up, trying to get in position to go win the race.
Yeah, and one quick way to find out how these guys are feeling about fuel is how racy they decide to get. 2x2, but they're definitely pushing a lot more than they were even earlier, and that's a bold statement. But the 03 and the 87, Miles Bagley and Ken McCullough Jr. going to get clear on the outside. They may pull buys, but Bagley ditches him. Bagley stays high. Ken McCullough Jr. is going to fade back to Garrett Maines. And the 03 is still making big ground. In fact, he's up 34 positions from where he started this race at, but certainly not going to be too happy there that the 87 left him after he tried to bring him down. Nonetheless, that's going to give Miles Bagley a chance at the lead here and bring a few others. Buys and Haynes get clear, but nobody wants to jump down just yet. I think that everybody feels like the top may be the way to go right now.
How about that for Miles Bagley? Very confident move to get to the lead. He brings Jackson Buys with him. A couple guys we haven't seen lead a lot tonight, but now want to go up and take their turn at it. Jared Haynes goes to the top. Oh, man, Kyler went back to the middle. Huge block from Jackson Buys. I mean, that's the kind of move I'm talking about right there. If you're Jackson Buys, you haven't been up front all race, and that is the first block he throws. And, boy, if it didn't work, because he's going to go to lead, but now he's going to get shoved out of line by Kyler Wynn. Kyler didn't appreciate that very much and showed it to him there in 1 and 2.
No, he didn't, and I think he kind of played a game of chicken with him here. I want to actually go look at a replay with it to see if that was the case, but that was a bad block by Jackson. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you, and Kyler said, okay, you want to block, I'll go ahead and just not lift push you, and let's see how long you can hold on to it. Jackson Buys realized that going through the corner and said, no, you know what, it's not worth it. Bails high, but that was definitely a little bit of a, you want to race me that way, I'll race you the same way back. And fortunately, Jackson Buys is going to learn the hard way as he goes towards the back. Kyler Wynn, though, takes the lead and lines up with his teammate Malik Ray. Those two now 1-2. Jeff Murko not done yet. Here he comes on the outside. He's going to split Kyler Wynn. 3 wide as they go into turn 1. Wynn in the middle. Is anybody going to go with him?
Yeah, Kenny McCullough will pick him up. That's going to hang Garrett Maines up by the safer barrier. Nobody going with him. Can't imagine Kyler's going to be terribly happy when he gets to the back bumper of Merck here. Imagine he'll go right back to the top on the push of Maines, but nope. Stays in line for now. Merck the belt with Malik Ray. I feel like that's for earlier when Malik and Kyler were grabbing the right rear of the 60 a couple of different times in this race. Got to imagine that Jeff Merck was giving it back just a tad. Malik looking to the middle. Freddie Bassinet now lead pusher on the bottom. Merck's in no man's land. He blocks middle, but the run is up top with Garrett Maines and Jackson Buys coming back to the front. They've got a nice run. Malik Ray in the middle with Kyler Wynn has a nice run. We're going to go 3x3 for the race lead in the trial with 13 to go. Big time racing. Buys trying to maybe split 4 wide as they hit the line.
I think he may have been looking for a little bit of air. He's been pushing for a little bit now in this third lane, trying to get Garrett Maines to the front. Hasn't been able to do it just yet. Now Malik's going to jump up top. That'll help this third momentarily. Kyler Wynn in the middle. Jeff Merck still on the bottom. Stephen Miles, by the way, great recovery. That was the car that, if you remember earlier in one of the first 2 cautions, tagged Axel Smith while he was upside down. I thought his night might have been done. Here he is running third on the inside with 12.5 laps to go. Still a chance to win it, and even further back now, we're seeing, I think, pretty much what's going to be the entire pack with a chance at the win here later. Now looking at some of the second packs here, we've got about 19 in the first pack. Mark Fondell leads Rusty Plant and Matt Frady in the second pack. And unfortunately for John Ward, who had came in by himself, all the way back now in 23rd, leading the third pack. So a couple guys still going to need a caution, but even though they're 3 wide, Dawson, I think this is some of the tamest racing we've seen so far tonight.
Yeah, it's tame, but it is unreal stuff up front right now. These guys are throwing crazy moves. You can see guys plotting where they want to go and making it happen. Kyler Wynn's done a pretty good job controlling, but Kenny McCullough busts through the coverage now and gets all the way to the race lead. And in the middle, it opened the door for a guy we really haven't seen all night. It's Dylan Jones in the 33. We've noted many times he likes to sit back, wait till the end of the race, then make his move towards the end. It's exactly what he's done tonight. His plan has worked to perfection. He's got Miles Bagley with him. They've got Daniel Falkingham and a couple of others in that middle lane. But boy, right now, it's all Kenny McCullough. Oh, trouble! Kyler Wynn in the outside wall, but this may go without a caution. Nobody else gets involved.
Kyler saved it. Got into the outside wall. The pack got by before his car started coming back down the track, and definitely some significant damage there on the right side. He's going to need a caution, but he won't get it. Only 11 laps to go. We'll see if they have one up front before we grab the white flag. Back up front, though, you said Ken McCullough Jr., he is looking very strong out front right now, and seems like all of a sudden the inside starts to roll as, man, another big checkup on the inside. But we pulled up track temp just a lap ago and down a degree from where we started this race at. Certainly no major changes, but, I mean, 100-degree track temp, not that bad, all things considered. And really, I think we've seen just about every single line work and getting towards the front tonight.
Yeah, it's crazy. You can never really tell what line is going to work and win. Right now, it's the middle. Big push. New leader, Miles Bagley, back to the point with 10 to go, looking for PGR win number 1 of his career. But he's got the winningest driver in recent PGR history behind him, Daniel Falkingham. He's won everything there is to win. It looks to get, I believe, into double digits in the PGR win column tonight if he can get back to victory lane. A couple lap cars on the outside. The pack will go by with no harm, no foul. Middle lane tries to regroup. Top 3 in the middle got clear, by the way. Bagley, Falkingham, and Bassinet. Now that middle, led by Velke, scratch that, led by Bassinet in that blue and silver, the Skyline looking car in the middle there. And look at the run they get in the 3. It's Freddie Bassinet quickly going to the lead. And out back they start to plot. Where do you go when you make the move? Velke goes now, but he gets no help doing it. He'll have his quasi-teammates tonight in, well, thought they were going to go out with him. Haynes and Osmond, they stay in the middle. Bagley now is, or not Bagley, excuse me, Veliky is stuck as Basnes goes to the lead, 9 laps to go. They're trading the lead like crazy up front right now.
Yeah, back and forth, and I think for Veliky there, he may have gotten to the point of just blinking red, about as hot as you could get before blowing up, and had 2 choices: jump out and just hope somebody went, or stay there and risk blowing up, and he chose to play it safe. I would say normally you don't want to go to the back with 9 laps to go, but we've seen cars going from the back to the front in this series a lot quicker than that, so we'll see Veliky make a run back up here before things are all said and done. The question's going to be, who jumps out to this third lane first? We saw a lot of people grabbing right rears earlier. Haven't seen it here in the last couple laps. Almost feels like the calm before the storm. But Freddie Basnes well in control right now. Stephen Miles Bagley on the bottom, along with the 88 of Falkingham. Ken McCullough Jr. got buried, as did the 33 of Jones. How about Davenport up here making a run? And we talked earlier about Miles making a good recovery. I got to give another shout out here. If he's on the lead lap, I don't think he is actually. I was going to say Omar Rodriguez making it back up here, although fortunately he is not on the lead lap as it stands. And I'm looking at more of these cars, and Dawson, we've got less than 30 cars still in the race.
Yeah, the race has taken its toll for sure, but it really hasn't been up front. And if you have any wood next to you, might want to knock on it while I say that. But it really hasn't taken anybody from the front, but the pit stop did in the herd. Several guys had unfixable damage throughout the crashes we've had tonight. But again, you say that, but we really haven't had that huge crash at the front yet. With still 8 laps to go. Obviously, plenty of time to still have that here at the front, but it doesn't really feel like we have less than 30 cars in the race for what we're used to, especially in the ARCA Series car that has produced so much chaos the last several weeks. We're going on now roughly 35-plus laps of green flag racing straight, still racing with unreal quality up front. And again, it just does not feel like there's that many cars out. But the race is certainly taking its toll. Basnes Miles up front. I'm wondering how long these guys stay calm. Man, 7 to go. The runs are only going to get bigger. The pushes are only going to get more desperate. I can't imagine the temps are going very well for Malik Ray or Miles Bagley here. Well, he gets a little bit of a break, does Miles Bagley. And how much does Falkingham try to get himself clear here down the backstretch? Bagley may go all the way back to the point here in turn 3.
I think you just said the key word, though, and that's temps. I think it's kind of a different battle depending on where you're at in this pack right now. I think some of the guys towards the front are maybe kind of at that point where everybody's been pushing for so long, they're too hot to really make all these moves and make all these pushes that they were doing earlier. And that could be some of the stalemate we're seeing up front. For the guys in the back, maybe they're saving a little temp here for when they want to make that final 2 or 3 lap run to the end. But I don't know. Garrett Maines, he's ready to go now. It looks like he was sitting at the back of this draft. He'll jump out with Jackson Baez. They're rolling through 1 and 2. Trevor tries to block Garrett, having none of it. He's going to push him 4. Now Trevor walls in. They're still side by side, 4 wide here. Can they keep it together? Garrett Maines up top, Trevor on the 3rd, Veliky in the middle, and I think they're going to hold it together for the moment. Trevor will get back down, and I think that was another case of Trevor trying, or not Trevor, I was going to say Trevor and whoever he was with. I couldn't tell if it was a teammate. They tried to make a block here, and I don't think they were necessarily expecting Garrett to split, but Garrett felt like the momentum was enough to go, and we'll see if they try to make this move happen again late.
Just really don't have enough cars. I mean, they need 1 to 2 more cars to really get situated. Whoa. Miles Bagley, what in the world? The 87 goes from leading the bottom all the way to the wall. Oh. He's going to get split 4 wide. What in the world is going on with the 87? They're going to crash. It's Matt Lee and Dylan Jones.
I think they all
what in the
saved
world
it
is going
here.
on with the 87 of Miles Bagley?
We'll go back and find out, but 33 of Jones, he saves, he gets back on track. We got to keep the cameras for the most part up front, though, because, again, only 5, going to be 4.5 laps to go, actually, as they work down the backstretch here. 24 miles. Oh, that's a mistake. Dipped down a little too early, lost the momentum. Now Garrett's going to pull clear. 21 of Baez will get a chance to breathe up top as he gets a push from Carl Bond. Falkingham on the bottom, though, with Harper. They're going to be coming to 4 laps to go, Dawson. I don't know. I think that ticking time bomb may be getting ready to hit 0.
Yeah, it's getting awfully close because some of these blocks, I mean, that one Garrett Maines just threw on Jackson Baez. That was a huge block on exit of 4, but it allowed that outside lane to roll. Now it's Maines to the point, so scratch what I said about that move and needing more cars. They got more cars, and they got all the way to the front. The field lap over John Ward to the inside. Here comes the Subway Mustang. It's Jackson Buys. It goes to the lead. The push from Falkingham. On the outside, it's Maines, pushed by Evan Karlbahn. Still looking for PGR win number 1. Landon Velicki back to the front as well. They bring Miles Bagley, Trevor Osborne, Malik Ray along with them. But it's Buys and Falkingham on the inside. Let's see how much these guys side draft here into 3. You know Daniel Falkingham's going to be all over him trying to push. Where does Karlbahn go? When do you split? If you're the Bark Chevy, he's trying potentially. They're in 3 to split. Not so much off 4. They're coming back to 3 laps to go. Look out back. Here comes Malik Ray and Freddie Basnes, but do they have enough cars to make it back to the front?
I think they will. It's just a matter of time, but this is where you got to be so disciplined, especially if you're one of these cars trapped on the bottom, like Daniel Falkingham, like Nathan Harper, because you want to push, you want to get your line to the front, but you got to know in the back of your head that you have to have enough temps to push the entirety of that last lap if it comes down to that. Falkingham, though, big opportunity here to jump up to the middle. Does he stay with Buys? He doesn't have to worry about it. Buys gets clear and goes all the way to the top. Jackson Buys climbing the ladder to cover Garrett Maines. He'll lead him down the backstretch into 3, but here comes Falkingham and Harper on the bottom.
And all kinds of scrambling here up front. Velicki hung out Karlbahn last time around. He's 3rd on the outside. Inside's been pretty much status quo, lined up since the pit stop. Velicki takes Maines to the safer barrier. Maines calls his bluff and goes all the way up there with him. Now it's Buys in the middle, pushed by Karlbahn. It's Maines on the outside, pushed by Velicki. It's Falkingham on the inside, pushed by Harper. Popsicle sticks to the line. 2 to go, 4 wide. Here comes Malik Ray. Big move by the 3. Karlbahn got to the middle. He's going to go to the bottom with Miles Bagley. It's insanity up front as Karlbahn tries to go to the lead on the push from Miles Bagley.
Yeah, it's all bets are off now. Everybody is going for anything. Watch out. Will Maines split or does he stay with them? Maines will stick with Buys as they rocket down the backstretch. If they make it to the white flag, race will be official. And that's one of the lappers there, Axel Smith, getting clear well out of the way. Still 2x2 up near the front. Further back, they're trying to get back organized to make another run out of 4. This is where you got to start to line up for really big pushes. Last lap, Dawson. What are we going to see? Who wants to win it? Trouble! Buys gets turned. Oh, the field's going to fly apart coming into the tri-oval. Basnes is in it. I think that was the 36 of Matt Lee. And Jackson Buys destroyed the 21 car. Done. Coming to... Oh, man, they were coming to the white flag, too, for Jackson Buys, though. He's not going to get to see it. And we were waiting for the time bomb to go off.
Destroyed. He's done. He went right to pit road.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean,
it just did.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, we were waiting for it, and it finally did just before we made it to the white. But, I mean, it was just so aggressive up front. You felt like it was really just a matter of time here, Dawson. And go back and look at it. But I think it's just so much pushing and shoving. You see Garrett here, little offset to the right as they're getting ready to exit the corner. And I think he's trying to kind of get realigned on him. And, ooh, right as he's doing so, he gets a shot from Malik Ray, who's getting pushed by Freddie Basnes. And that whole kind of train that got into Garrett there with the push was just enough to send him into the right side of the rear bumper of Jackson Buys and just immediately hooked Buys. And then everybody else is just scattering to try to miss him here. Ken McCullough Jr. and Josh McCullough, they go spinning down on the apron. That's a tough break for McCullough Motorsports. Looks like it might take out 2 of their cars in the process of this.
Yeah, again, you called it with the ticking time bomb, and eventually you knew it was going to happen. I wondered if we would make it back to the white flag, and we'd make it about half a straightaway from the white flag before it kind of goes off here off of turn number 4. Bad push from Garrett. Not really a bad push, but just a, hey, it's a 2 to go push. And unfortunately, as he tries to recenter, as Buys tries to come back up on his nose, Maines gets in the back of him. Big damage for Garrett Maines. Goodness, the 1 car is destroyed. Whole front clip off of that machine. Freddie Basnes has huge damage. Landon Velicki has huge damage. These are good cars that have been up front all night. Basnes rolls down the track. He's got no control over that car. Buys his night likely over. Several. I mean, these are heavy-hitting cars that have been up front all night long. I thought Garrett Maines had made the winning move. You go from winning move to destroyed just like that. But that's what happens with 2 laps to go. Coming back to the white flag in a PGR race, that can happen right there. It's just you don't have enough regard with 2 laps to go to lift, kill your momentum, and recenter. You just have to try to do it as quickly as possible. And right there, it leads to a big incident for Buys, Maines, and several others. Malik Ray gets a piece of this. Trevor Osborne gets a piece of this. There's cars up front that might still actually have damage beyond just those that are limping back to pit road. Kenny McCullough as well. Big damage for him.
Yeah, and you know, I'm glad that we're not race control, Dawson, because the more I look at this, the harder to me the call is to make. And again, I could be missing something here, which is why I say I'm glad I'm not race control, but it just kind of looks to me a little bit from a couple of the views here that we saw that I think that Garrett was intentionally offset the way he was, and I think that he was purposely keeping just enough room between him and Bies to where he could either cool or set him up somehow to either make a move. I don't know what he was doing, but I don't think Garrett's ever actually going to hit Bies here. I think he gets a small push from out back while he's sitting towards the right side, and that little push is what actually gets him into the bumper and turns the 21 of Bies up the track. Again, it's really hard to tell, at least from the views we have, but it just looked like Freddie and Malik got a slight bit of a run up to the rear bumper of Garrett just before the contact was made, and maybe gave him just enough of a push or an arrow push, something that got him there. But nonetheless, yeah, you talked about a big damage for a lot of these cars, and I mean, I'm looking back to some of them here that were involved, and at first, kind of once they went by the camera view, I know we initially thought it was a big one. I thought there was maybe only 2 or 3 cars that got involved. For Ken McCullough Jr. here, couldn't tell if he ever actually hit anything, but it looks like he is going to clip the pit wall here as they come down just about to pit entry. And Veliky made that big jump up top here. He might have saved himself. I couldn't tell if he quite got clipped there at the end. We'll have to go to the onboard view. But certainly a big wreck in terms of the front pack, and going to set us up now for, well, really our only attempt at a green-white-checkered. But before we do that, let's go back here and look at the onboard view for Landon Veliky as he sees this all break out right as he goes 3 wide to the top and stays in the gas. Oh my goodness, he makes it through. Holy cow, Landon Veliky might have got a scratch on the right side, but he decided to throttle up and split the seas. That was certainly something to watch right there for Landon Veliky. As we go back up front now, and it's Dylan Jones, who, if you remember, we said was going to need a caution. He got turned earlier, Dawson. Here he is, now back up in the front with Jeff Merck, Falkingham, Carlbon. There's a couple drivers up here that have a chance at their first win at PGR tonight.
Yeah, it's, kind of what I was going to get into is some of the storylines up front. I mean, you've got Falkingham, who's won everything there is to win in PGR. Malik Ray is kind of on that wavelength as well. Matt Lee, a multiple-time winner. Nathan Harper, a multiple-time winner. Stephen Miles is a PGR winner. Like, you've got a lot of those guys that have won here before, but then you've got some wild cards and guys that have not yet won. Evan Carlbon is obviously the top running of those cars. He's 4th. He's actually going to be 3rd. Then Miles Bagley is 6th. He is yet to win in PGR. I'm looking further back. Matt Frady without a PGR win, technically not out of this, back around the 12th, 13th, 14th position. Rusty Plant, I mean, these are guys that aren't out because of how the racing's been tonight, how fast you can get to the front, and also, by the way, not eliminating the possibility of a crash here in this last green-white-checkered or on the last lap. So I even look back towards them. You talk about Landon Veliky, he's a multiple-time PGR winner, but none of them were while we were on the live airwaves, so he's looking to get to victory lane, at least on a broadcasted standpoint. So you've got all kinds of guys that have won here before or, have won in PGR. Then you got some wild cards, and those are the guys I'm most interested to see. Carl Bond especially, very motivated. Same with Bagley. Jeff Merck, it's been a while since he's been to victory lane in PGR as well. Going to be real interesting here in 2 laps.
Yeah, regardless of who wins, this one's going to be a thriller all the way to the finish. One green-white checker to settle it. Who is going to take home the big paycheck here tonight? Let's find out. Green flag back in the air. 2 laps to go at Talladega, and it's a good restart for the outside. Jeff Merck actually beats Dylan back to the line on the outside too. Falkingham quickly to the back bumper to aid Merck. They'll both potentially get clear. Oh, Merck's got it. Falkingham doesn't. I think the top's going to be the preferred lane anyway. 2x2 back through the field. Garrett Maines with the damage already up top. 3 wide looking to pick up Frady. And oh man, the top's really rolling now. The bottom is fading out. Jones almost gets turned.
Oh man, they're trying to crash. Malik Ray back there. Landon Veliky back there. Remember, the caution comes out. The race is over. Oh, trouble. One car got in the back of... I couldn't tell which car that was. It was Kyler Wynn that I saw get in the back of somebody. No caution. Still green up front. Coming back to the white flag, Jeff Merck, Daniel Falkingham, Miles Bagley. Out back, it's Matt Lee and Nash Brambilla. And I would not count out that bottom out back, but Dylan Jones is coming to pit road. He's got some kind of problem aboard the 33. Look at Osborne splitting the wall. White flag in the air.
Yeah, Bagley took the bait, went low, and that allowed Osborne to get up top. And this is going to be a game of chicken now, Dawson. The inside, no organization at all. Everybody up top. It's going to be all about who jumps out, makes the move first.
Yeah, off turn 2, headed down towards turn number 3. No move yet. Trevor Osmond's the car I'm going to watch here as we get down towards 3. Remember, Falkingham and Merck teammates at MBG. I can't imagine they'll make a move. Here go the Jack Shack cars. Oswald, Haynes, they've got Garrett and a couple others. And as they come off turn 4, they'll drag race. Can Haynes push Oswald the nut to get him there? No side draft really from the middle. They're going to basically allow that bottom to come up to him. Who decides to try to win it off 4?
Oh man, no move yet. Falkingham, will he be loyal? Here comes Garrett on the bottom. Falkingham's going to dive out late. It'll be a drag race between him and Merck, but one more push up top. Miles steals it. Stephen Miles finds a way to steal it about 100 feet from the checkered flag. Nobody saw that coming. Oh my goodness, what a win for Stephen Miles.
I could see him plotting it, and I knew he was probably going to try it. I did not know if he had enough time, and somehow, some way he did. Unreal move. I don't know if he just got lucky enough to get a run or what happened. But, I mean, literally, it's like the other two, Merck and Falkingham, they're focused on each other, and Miles says, hey, you guys left a lane open up here. I'm going to drive on by and take it for myself. Oh, my goodness. The heist of the year in PGR as Stephen Miles captures another PGR victory on his resume.
And, man, that would have been a huge win for Merck. It's a great finish, but if you would have paused that when they were coming into the Tribal and gave me 10 guesses on who was going to win that race, Miles would not have been one of my picks. I mean, I cannot believe how big of a run he got in that short of a span. I think they were out of the Trioval when he jumped to the outside. I mean, you're pretty much about 100 feet from the line at that point. And somehow he got clear, and it was a close finish, but I mean, he still won it by 0.03 of a second. So Stephen Miles with probably one of the craziest moves we have seen after T-boning a guy upside down earlier in the race, and he's burning it down as he should. That was a phenomenal finish, and really kind of that classic style, Dawson. I wouldn't be shocked if that's similar to what we see in the SummerSlam, where in these cars, whether it's these or the Gen 6, everybody stays lined up until you get to the Trioval, and then everybody decides to try to make their moves. But before we talk more about it, let's go back and look at this finish and break this down. This was unbelievable here for Stephen Miles. You talked about first the move, and we'll zoom things in here and give you the best angle of this that we can. Watch first. Right as they get to the Trioval, there's Falkingham, makes the move. Merck can't cover. Merck stays in the middle. And I thought, okay, Steven's going to go with him here. I mean, where else would he go? And it looks like Steven decides, yeah, I'll go with you. But then all of a sudden, right as they're about at the end of the Trioval, he says, nope, jumps out. A little bit of run up top from Frady. Falkingham gets up, and I wonder if Falkingham going up the track a little bit there, combined with Miles jumping to the outside, was enough of a side draft to bring Merck back just enough for Miles to beat him out at the line.
Yeah, I have no idea how he got enough of a run. I guess the left rear side draft from Falkingham, and then obviously Miles grabs the right rear. Gotta imagine it might be double trouble there for Jeff Merck in the middle. Obviously, I can't imagine that's going to be a very fun post-race team meeting between Falkingham and Jeff Merck there. It looked like they had a 1-2 locked up. And Miles comes around the outside and steals it. And the other story in this, I think, is if they had about another 300 feet, Matt Frady was going to finish second. I mean, he just about stole at least third, if not second, from Merck and Falkingham there. Matt Frady was shot out of the cannon because those guys all split each other. So almost an unreal story for Frady, but man, for Miles, that's a big win for him. He won a while back, but had been looking for another one. It's a big one for him. With 2 weeks till the SummerSlam, that was a really well-executed race from Stephen Miles.
Certainly was, and for a race that started out with the first half being pretty caution-filled, that was a fun one to watch the second half, especially the finish. And with that, before we go to your top 3, let's take a look at the finishing results here tonight. Stephen Miles is your race winner by official gap of 0.03 of a second over second-place finishing Jeff Merck. Daniel Falkingham stays on the podium with a third-place finish. And Matt Frady taking home that 4th spot. Garrett Maines back in 5th after being involved in the caution before the final restart of the race. Still manages to claw back. Malik Ray back in 6th. Landon Veliky finishes in 7th. And it's Trevor Osborne taking the last paying position tonight in 8th. Joshua McCullough 9th. And Jared Haynes rounding out the top 10.
Nathan Harper, a good recovery for him in the 11th position after the early incident we saw with the 4. John Ward, same with him. We saw him go all the way back to 23rd in the 3rd pack off the pit stop. With a caution, he's able to get back, at least in the lead draft. Can't get into the money positions tonight, but finishes 12th. Nash Brambilla 13th after starting on the pole. Rusty Plant 14th, a pretty good run for the 12 machine as well. And John Darnell finishing out in the last spot in the top 15. I'll tell you, the finishing result doesn't show it. Massive credit to Miles Bagley tonight. He ran a really nice second half of this race, put himself in position to at least be there when it mattered, and unfortunately did not fall his way tonight. He'll go 16th. Sean Wiggins in 17th, Matt Lee 18th, Mark Mondell 19th, and Chris Blanchard back in the 20th spot.
And finishing 21st tonight was the 7-8 of Evan Carlbon. Ken McCullough Jr. back in 22nd. Kyler Wynn finished 23rd after that late race trouble for him. Mike Davenport back in 24th. Dylan Jones started up front there on the last restart, but didn't work out for him. Back in 25th is where he finishes. Omar Rodriguez 26th. Axel Smith back in at 27th. It's going to be Freddie Bosnez finishing in 28th. With Jackson Byes and Sean Corbett rounding out the top 30.
Tough break for Brian Hennings tonight. We saw that technical issue he had. He finishes 31st. William Scott Jr. in 32nd. Nick Seipel involved in that Hennings incident goes 33rd. David Drohan in 34th. James Waring back in 35th with Michael Wingo 36th. The guys in the first caution, Austin Johnson 37th. Dustin Svek in 38. John Ellis finishes 39th. Only logs one singular lap tonight, or a few singular laps. And then the final three cars on the field, Justin Johnston, Chris Summers, and Dusty Martin.
Right, with that, let's go ahead and grab your top three for interviews. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Talladega. All right, welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. Going to start first here tonight with your race winner, the 24 of Stephen Miles. Stephen, this is Austin and Dawson in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy. How y'all doing?
Oh, my goodness. How are you doing? You just won one of the craziest finishes we have ever seen. I mean, going into the Trioval, I didn't think there was any way you'd be winning the race. I thought you might have been pushing somebody to the win. You make a move about 100 feet from the line and beat out Jeff Merck by 0.03 of a second. How did you pull that one off?
I guess running with Malik and Kyler and Freddie, them kind of rub off on me or something. You know, I probably learned a little something from them. But I know at the end of these races with these cars, you got to be patient. Usually, you know, it'll be a wreck or something like that. But I seen Garrett finna make a move, and I was finna take it in between 3 and 4, but I felt like it was too early. And once he did, he already got to my side, and then Falkenham went down there. So just the run, just me just filling that gap where Falkenham was, and then I guess Merck's attention was on his teammate to side draft him. I was just like, you know, I was really surprised that he let me take his right side like that. And I mean, I felt the run coming, bro. I felt it, and luckily I had just enough to get in front of him at the line.
A phenomenal finish, and you bring home a big paycheck as a result of it. Now, obviously, the ARCA car was a little bit of a tough task for quite a few guys tonight. You got caught up in an incident earlier, not of your causing, but how did you claw back in the remaining laps to even get back to the front?
Oh, man. Yeah, I did get in a little incident, and I think I saved it, but somebody ARCA braked me in the back and gave me like 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So just caution. I think the next caution I got completely done, but after that, it was pretty much a fuel strategy race. I know we was in the very back, and we lost the draft to the pack, and luckily we was able to get to the tail end before green flag pit stops, and I just wanted to get track position, but by doing that, it kind of hurt me on fuel. And there at the end, me and Malik and the team was just trying to conserve fuel, but at the same time not lose track position. Malik called it. He felt like it was going to be a caution before the checker, and right when we were finna get the white flag, I realized that I was good to go, and I was just finna go, and caution came out. So right there was just a reset, and I was on the outside, and we all know how the outside line is. And right there, you just got to be patient and time it just right. That's how Falkenham and Malik and Kyler and these guys are so great. They just have good time. And even Gary Maines, he came from the back. I don't even know. I know he got his damage fixed. He came straight from the back. So just a little luck, man, and learning how to race with these cars and just a little more experience, man. That's all they got me. But I'm just glad I was able to get my first PGR win tonight.
Absolutely, and a big one to get just a couple weeks before the SummerSlam. So, hey, Steven, before we let you head out tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Oh, yeah, man. Shout out to y'all, too, man. Putting an awesome broadcast on. My mom just texted me, so I know it was pretty good. shout out Mike for putting on this league, and shout out to SummerSlam for anybody watching. The sign-up's still up there, and it's going to be a good show. Shout out to everybody in the league, my teammates most of all, Malik, Kyler, Nick Sipple, Freddie. I mean, this is the best team you could be on to learn. And from 14 years old all the way to me, I think I'm the oldest. I ain't going to say the age, but that'll be it, man. Well, no, let me thank my mom, my dad, my girl, and most of all, Jesus Christ for waking us up in the morning and letting us wreck cars at night, man. And that'll be it.
Steven, thank you for talking to us. Congrats again on your first PGR win in thrilling fashion, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Thank you.
All right, now that's going to bring us up to tonight's second place finisher. That's the 60 of Jeff Merck. Dawson Wise stands by with him.
Hey, Mark, it's the boys in the booth. You got a copy?
What's up, Dawson?
Well, hey, not too much. A little bit surprised to me personally. You got a little bit of pep in your step up here in the broadcast booth. It's a tough break for you and Dan there in the trial. It looked like you guys were going to either race it out or go 1-2, or regardless, Stephen Miles comes away, steals it. What kind of happened there in the trial? Was there miscommunication with the teammates? Kind of take me through it there in the trial as you guys come home 2-3.
No, I think it was just more everybody out for themselves there coming through the tri-oval. I get it. Daniel's going for the win. What really happened is I just focused too much on Daniel side drafting, and then by the time I looked up, he's got such a big run coming at me. I'm either, if I block it, I think I get wrecked. So I got to kind of not really give him the outside, but he's coming to such a big run that I think if I do anything stupid, I might take myself out of a pace spot altogether. So I finished P2, and the way my luck's been running with the NBG, I'll take a P2 all night long.
Certainly still a great result for you, and a really good result as we get to the last couple weeks before the SummerSlam. We talked about earlier, these cars pretty similar to what we'll see in that race weekend in terms of the package, in terms of the drafting and the big moves and the big blocks. We saw a lot of it tonight, but I kind of felt like in that middle run, you guys up front found the line between what is too much and causing wrecks and what is just enough to still be really aggressive and keep track position. Do you feel like the drivers learned something that we're going to see in 2 weeks in the SummerSlam? Is there kind of a learning curve coming, so where guys are figuring out what they can and can't do before a big event like that one in 2 weeks?
No, just the middle run is everybody was saving fuel so hard. I mean, I thought they were timed down the back straightaway. We were running half throttle the whole front pack because even the guys that were like saving hardcore was barely going to make it. I went down because I was a lap short. Got like 3.7, come back out, and right as I'm coming off pit road, the caution comes out. So I come all the way around, past all the guys that have to pit, and I'm on P1. So, so no, nobody learned anything. They were just saving fuel so hard they wouldn't really racing. We were just kind of sitting there riding.
Second place for you tonight. Obviously, the 2-3 for you guys over at NBG, a really good result, and going to leave with quite the payday tonight as well. So before we let you go and enjoy that, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, first and foremost, my loving wife inside. She's always watching these broadcasts, rooting for me. Thanks, babe, for letting me do this. Probably a lot more than you should. So I love her for that. Second shout out goes to my boy Baker over there, defending our country and keeping us free. Buddy, hurry home. I miss racing with you. So in the whole Baker family, I know they're real waiting on you to get home. I don't know if y'all didn't update the paint or my trading paints is still acting up, but it's supposed to be the NBG Catch Fence Motorsports Chevy ARCA car here. You boys up in the booth. Man, P2, we almost had our second PGR win, but I'll take a P2 and a payday. So off to a good mow heading into the SummerSlam, and I'm looking forward to the SummerSlam.
As are we. Thanks so much for talking to us for a second. Congrats on the second place effort tonight. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We will talk to you soon.
Yep. I forgot one more. 760 Graphics. He paints these cars for me. He always does a great job. So give Heath Job a shout out.
All right, and now that is going to bring us to your final podium finisher on the night, and that is the 88 of Daniel Falkingham. Daniel, this is Austin and Dawson in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How we doing?
Good. Well, man, you bring home third, but when you made the move, it looked like you were going to be fighting for the win, and you end up on the last spot in the podium. Tell us a little bit about what you could see there going through the trial, and if there was anything you wish you could have done a little different.
Yeah, so coming off of that whole last restart, I was staying with Merck until off of turn 4. Then it was every man for himself. So I saw Garrett shoot out of line coming through the tri-oval. So he was coming so fast, I pulled to the inside because with the run he got, that was my shot to win. But unfortunately, the guy that was pushing him took his right rear, and that swung the momentum out of our favor. It swung from the bottom, and it swung all the way back to the top because with how strong the right rear side draft is on this car, momentum shifts so quickly. So unfortunately, I made the move. If I would have had the push from the 40 car to Garrett, which would have pushed him into me, we'd be in the winner's circle right now. But unfortunately, it just didn't work out that way. And unfortunately, Jeff and I got stuck to side drafting each other, which allowed Miles to get that run and get around both of us and win. So now shout out to Miles. Congrats to him on the win. Shout out to Merck getting second. I was hoping one of us could have won there, but Merck, I'd say, lucked out pretty good with that last caution where he had to pit for fuel and thankfully got a yellow to restart up front. So now, wish we could have done something. I don't know really how much different we could have done, but just unfortunately the momentum just wasn't in our favor tonight, sadly. But still, take a P3 after all the shenanigans that happened at the end. You can't complain.
Absolutely. Well, you've already won multiple times in PGR. You know what it's like to win one of the PGR Crown Jewel events, that being the PGR 500. How important is that, knowing that in a couple of weeks we got the SummerSlam 499? How much would it mean to win that one as well?
Hey, man, it's kind of like the last, I'd say, Crown Jewel of PGR I got to win because, like, all the rest of them, the Fall Brawl Championship, the 500, I've won them on my first go. So I feel like that odes pretty well to SummerSlam, hopefully. But hopefully we can make the race there. We can get it done over there. But having good runs like this gets us, build us up some momentum because we know who we're going to be racing around. We know what moves we need to perform at the end of these races if we're in contention to win, especially with it being in the Gen 6. So definitely feeling good. I'm looking forward to SummerSlam, and hopefully it's going to be a good time. Hopefully we're in the winner's circle in that one too.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, Daniel, if PGR had a Hall of Fame, you'd probably be first ballot. Nonetheless, though, here tonight you get a good finish. So before we let you head out, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, just shout out to you guys broadcasting. Shout out to Mike for putting this all on. Matthew Baker as well. Shout out to everyone who raced. Shout out to the MBG boys. Merck, Garrett, Matt Lee, Nathan Harper, Blanchard, John Ellis as well. That was in here tonight. Like I said, I hate Merck and I. One of us didn't get the win there, but I mean, it's just so hard with just how the momentum swings in this car. So we were on the wrong side of it tonight. But shout out to all those boys. We worked pretty good there. Shout out to Miles again on the win. Thanks to everyone watching the broadcast. And yeah, thanks for all the support.
Daniel, thank you for talking to us. Again, congrats on the third place finish, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
All right. Thank you, Austin.
All right. Well, before we wrap up our coverage here tonight, you heard from your top three, and I'll tell you what, I've got to interview Steven a few times, Dawson, and I think he was pretty excited about that one. Again, maybe not the closest finish we've seen historically for PGR, but I would rank that as one of the top three. I mean, I've just never seen a guy make a move that late and win it.
I mean, yeah, and really, I think it's also boosted by the fact that the racing before that was so good. I mean, we went almost 40 laps without a caution. We had a pit cycle. These guys were still racing like that in the midst of a pit cycle. We went all the way up until the last couple laps, had a caution, but then to make up for the caution with that kind of finish, it's one of the best races I think we've ever seen. It's probably the second best race we've seen here in 2025 in PGR. Props to our own Matthew Baker, who reminded me about Duel 2 of the PGR 500 that I got to call as well. But this one certainly second, certainly the best Thursday race in a long time, and the finish absolutely unreal. And you mentioned that, it's top three. It's ironic. I think we've had two of them here in 2025. This one and Kenny Reel on Kyler Wynn back in, ironically, the Gen 6 car earlier in the year when he waited just about as long to make that late move as Miles did tonight. We've had two of them in the span of 7 months in a year. An unreal 2025 we're having in PGR tonight. Just another incredible chapter. And what better time to do it? I mean, the SummerSlam's 2 weeks away, and this is what we're putting on track. Come on now, how could you not want to keep tuning in and coming back for that event in a couple weeks?
Certainly a good build-up to it. Don't forget, if you want to get signed up for the SummerSlam 499, all you got to do is go on PGResports.com, get all the info, and get yourself registered today. That's going to wrap up our coverage tonight for the Intimidator Superspeedway Series. We'll be back next week. And then just after that, we'll be talking about the SummerSlam coming up. Looking forward to that. As for tonight, thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, we hope that you enjoyed. And until next time, have a good night.